Welcome back to the podcast. Today, Simon is interviewing me, so I'm going to let him take it from here because I'm not working today.
I'm just chilling, mate. Yeah, we've got part two of what effectively is Steve's story, isn't it? Part two of Steve's story. So part one...
the stuff that is PG enough to...
Yeah, PG enough. Steve's PG story.
There we go.
It's called part two.
The Disney version.
The Disney version. So if you've not seen part one, you can head back and watch that. But where we basically got up to was you were just coming to the end of your coaching career. You were stopping GRT and stepping into the business mentoring world. But could you just give a bit of an overview to the listeners of what the coaching space looked like in around that time? Because this was peak COVID, right?
Yeah.
When you were stopping, because the coaching industry changed dramatically from pre-COVID to COVID, then changed slower maybe after COVID. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So could you just give a bit of an overview of what the coaching space looked like? Because you were really sort of one of the earlier online coaches. There wasn't many online coaches, right? When
probably one of the more successful ones. Yeah. Like, it's probably
so just give people an overview of what the coaching space looked like, and then why you decided to step away from the coaching business and into the business mentoring.
So what basically happened was, and I probably went into this a little bit in the last one, is people just kept asking us for help. Like, obviously a lot of people had to go online during COVID. We were already online before COVID. So we almost had we were perfectly built for that to happen, essentially. Like, the only thing that we did was me and Lewis just basically pulled an all-nighter, like rebuilding all of our programs with no equipment, or like really basic equipment. Like, we had
there was so many body
dumbbells.
weight stuff.
We had a body weight. We changed them all to, like, we made male, female, beginner, intermediate, advanced, 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, pretty much every day, because you knew people would be bored. Then body weight for each of those. And then for each of those, we did body weight, resistance bands, dumbbells and resistance bands.
So people who had limited equipment.
Yeah, and TRX.
Yeah.
Or not TRX, because TRX is a trademark thing, but like door hinge suspension trainers.
I still had my fitness business at the time. I'm not going to lie, I did not enjoy programming in COVID.
I broke a couple of doors, if I'm honest.
No, I didn't enjoy it at all.
So basically we did that, and we lost one client.
Yeah.
Like, we literally lost, when it happened, we lost one client.
Yeah.
And things just exploded. Like, the first program intake we took on, I think we took on like 200 clients, like in the space of like 2 months. It was absolutely nuts. And obviously, because we were doing a really good job, we had a couple of like very well-known like influencer fitness people come on and pay us to work with us. And then, shouted about like how good we were, kind of snowballed from there. And I think we went from maybe mid 20K a month to like 50 or 60K a month in like
so really
a period of 6 months.
Am I right in saying that you started thinking about stepping away from this and doing the business mentor really when the business was at its peak?
Yeah, it sounds really weird. I know people.
I know.
Well,
I
wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
I have a higher capacity for work than most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can easily sit and do a 12-hour day, 5-6 days a week. It doesn't bother me. I don't get drained. I don't get tired. I don't need a break from that. Like, that's standard workload. Remember when I was a teacher, I'd be up PTing. I'd be up to PT at 5 o'clock. I'd PT from like 5:30 till 6:30 every morning. Then go into school, plan my lessons for the day, like early, start work at like 8:30, finish at 3:15, stay and do all my marking, plan some other stuff, probably do meetings, go back to like go and train myself at like 6 to 7. And then at like 7, I'd be doing like online coaching stuff till about 8:30. And I do that every day. So like, to me, I was always like, right, I can do more. So, and I could have just like took more clients on, but when people started coming to me, like asking me to help with the business because they seen how fast ours was growing, I was like,
so what were the, give me an example what was someone coming to you asking for help for? Because bear in mind, there was probably...
Well, you know what happened? People started robbing our stuff at first. So coaches would sign up to us saying that they wanted a transformation, but then they'd basically copy everything that we did, like copy our onboarding, because obviously they got sent our onboarding emails, they got sent our check-in emails, they got sent all our worksheets. Like obviously we coached them through the process, like, and they just go away and replicate it themselves, which is fine. But I just wish they'd have said that to start with. Like, funny enough, we had one girl who actually applied for a car like 2 or 3 months ago with us, who did a transformation and then blocked me straight afterwards, and then proclaimed that she'd done it all herself. Like, just she could. I don't know what she hoped to achieve out of it. But then, like, she applied for a call and she still had me blocked on Instagram. And I had to say to, like, one of our lead generators, like, you might want to tell her that she needs to unblock me if she's going to join the program, because I can't fucking help her if I don't know what she's doing. And, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. And I'm like, of course you did. She probably did. Like, she probably did forget, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't hold a grudge about it, but it was just quite funny. Like that,
Yeah.
but that wasn't like, that's
what was
that's
happening.
one isolated
Yeah.
incident.
Yeah.
So like it happened like over and over and over again. And that happened, and other people, you know, morally came and was like, listen, I'd like to learn how you deliver everything. I'd like to learn how it works. Like, could I pay you?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, yeah. But then obviously once you've built this system and you've helped them build the business, they want more clients to put through it.
So initially you were literally just helping people
Coach.
We
were coaching them how to do the
it was nothing to do
coaching.
with business then. It was just well, it's sort of to do with business, but it was more to do with the
delivery,
the systems and the delivery.
So we were only really coaching about fulfillment at first. It
Yeah.
was like how to build a program, how to deliver a program. But then obviously, like when they started marketing the program, they weren't very naturally good at it. So they were like, well, I've got this program that I think is amazing, but I can't get any people in
Yeah.
it. So then obviously you're not going to fucking tell them, be like, right, go
Yeah.
away.
And I bet the stuff that you were teaching them about marketing is completely different now, because I was coaching it. No, I may not have been coaching at this time, but I know what marketing was quite different to what it was. What
Actually really happened, and like, not to name any names because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but like I sent them 2 people to learn that stuff. And then they come back and they'd be like, oh, they've not replied to me. Like, I've paid, but they've not replied to me. Or I don't get a phone call. I just get a load of videos. I don't know. I still don't know. I'm no better off. I've just spent all this money off your back.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck, I can't keep sending them there.
That's why you don't recommend anyone now.
Well, that's why I stopped recommending people, because I was like, they were just, you know, they were coming back and complaining to me. So I helped on myself, basically, and that's really how it started. And then the demand just got really high, to be honest. Like, obviously, a lot of the people that were in the space at the time as me had either limited experience in actually running a business.
Yeah. So do you want to just explain how? Because pre-COVID, there wasn't a lot of online coaches.
Yeah. Sure.
There was quite few and far between. You know, it was usually the top coaches or maybe influencers or people with big audiences that were just online. Very rare. There was quite a lot that did hybrid. They were doing coaching and online. That's sort of the business model that I ran. But obviously with COVID, there was a lot more just online. There was even people like, and you never saw this before COVID, people getting the qualification and going straight into online. That was literally unheard of. Whereas now that's completely normal. But so just explain to people like what that looked like at the time, because there was a lot of people getting qualified, but without having zero experience with coaching. So do you think that was like a big factor in people coming to you, or was it more people that were maybe experienced on the gym floor and then struggling?
It was more people that were actually good coaches that just didn't know how to do it online, because there wasn't even really hybrid then. It was like just really good in-person coaches that maybe had a couple of spreadsheets and stuff like that. There wasn't any like, our communication systems and stuff like that were really clever. Like we did a lot of things before they were like done things. Basically because I was one of the first people that was doing it. Like, I don't really know many other people around that time that had a business the size that I had with the staff that I had.
No.
And did it on their own as well.
An online coaching business then was, you might have had an app, there might have been a check-in and a subscription, and that's pretty much it. Whereas
Yeah, but I don't know
explain,
people.
Do you want to explain what that actually looked like at that time?
What, as in like the delivery of the business?
Yeah.
So obviously we had automated onboarding. So people would sign up, they'd get a series of videos like from myself or whoever on the team, like dictating kind of like, this is how the training works, this is how the nutrition works, this is how the check-in process works, this is what the program is. Then we'd have a meeting with them where we'd map out the progress over the initial 90 days, which is the initial program was 90 days. So we'd say, look, this is where you're going to be in 90 days. This is what we'd like to do over 6 and 12 months with you, but we'll work on this first because this is the first goal that we've said. We'd then do like a live nutritional planning session with them because we found that it was a little bit like, we'd end up doing loads of revisions. You know, if we'd sent them a meal plan or sent them a nutrition protocol and they were like, oh, well, I'd probably rather do this and rather do that, because we were really like tailored to them. So we got on a call with them and just was like, right, what are your preferences with this? What are your preferences with that? So we did it all live with them, and we built the meal plans and built the nutrition programs live. Training plan was semi-templated.
Yeah.
But then when they came into the program, we'd then have like really high touch points, like pretty much throughout most of the program, unless we identified that they didn't respond to it and they didn't want it, and then we'd kind of tailor it down. But we had a sheet that tracked all of our clients and how much contact we thought they needed, and which ones are the ones that were not engaging, because we should just fucking leave them, because if you can't be asked to talk to us, we can't really chase you. But then we had all the ones that were like strugglers, that we were like, right, we're really on these, like we need to do some extra support
Almost
with them.
like a traffic light system.
Well, we did have a traffic light system essentially. And we always calibrate for amber.
Yeah.
So our job is green are going to get green anyway, pretty much. They just follow your advice. Amber to green is probably the metric that we track the most.
Get the people.
Red, we tried at first, but then we just found we were wasting our time. Like some people just disengage. And
if you spend all your time on red,
well, it's quite upsetting as well. To be fair,
if you spend all your time on
personally.
red, the amber and green are going to suffer, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it's the ambers that suffer. The greens will just crack on and do it anyway. But greens would succeed with every coach.
Yeah.
You know, in spite of even bad advice, they'll just crack on and get it done.
Yeah.
So yeah, we focused on that. We used to give feedback on every single workout that they did. So they do a workout and log it, and we check the workout against the previous workout and make sure that they've been completing it and make sure that they've been progressing it. And they get told, you need to progress this, you need to progress this, you need to progress this. So, you know, when you say, oh, I can't tell you what weight to use. We actually did. Like after a calibration bit of like finding out how strong they were to start with, we checked the form, make sure it was standardized, and then we'd actually give them the progressions as well.
Yeah.
And obviously based on food and based on recovery, and we used to taper volume. So it was really, really in depth. Same with nutrition and like lifestyle and stuff like that. And obviously it was heavy, it was heavy work, but that's what I wanted to be able to do with online. I wanted to hand on heart be like, our online system is better than getting an in-person PT because you don't get this, which is more important to you, like having someone count your reps. Once you can train, once you know how to do the exercise, we were better.
Yeah.
And that's the way I set ourselves. And then obviously, you know, because of that, we were able, you know, we were charging 275 to 300 quid way before anyone else was, like way before, like it was unheard of, like getting that price point for online coaching. We grew faster. There might have been, but I wasn't aware of anyone that had like the infrastructure that we had, the staff that we had, like who'd built like a full on online coaching team, especially in the time frame that we'd done it in. Like it was,
and at the time, I think as well is quite.
No, that's what I mean, because it was really early. Like, there's quite a lot that have done it now.
Yeah, there is
but
now.
Like,
but
I don't know anyone that had done it then.
I don't, and I was in that space at that time. So, so explain to me how it worked then. So people started coming asking you questions. Were you just doing one-on-one stuff with them? And I know you did some sort of like
we did a course at first. We did a course at first because obviously I was heavily still in the business and I just didn't have the time to deal with everyone one-to-one. And I thought, well, it's the people that are coming are pretty switched on and high achieving, so maybe they don't need a lot of hand holding. And I think I started saying, if you want to like do some PT stuff with me, like PT coaching, you need to put your email list on, because I'm not talking about it on my socials. Like I don't want to talk about that. So put your email list on and I'll send some emails and I've got some more information. I think we ended up with like 100 people on the email list. I put out 10 spots for a course that was $1,000 and we sold all 10 within like 7 minutes. Literally sent the email out, did like a little bit of a build up.
Yeah. And at that point, once you sold out those spots, at that point, was that the seed that started I may go in this direction? Or did you just think this is just going to be a bit of a side thing that I do on top of the GRT? Or
well, we used to sell out everything like that, to be honest with you. Our programs we used to send the email and they used to sell out within like the day. We never got to like public sale for most stuff. Everything was
There
sold
must
by
have been
email.
a part of you thinking that this might not sell as quick as the
Well, so
transformation
the difference
spots.
was like the fulfillment of 10 grand's worth of fulfillment with the coaching stuff was 10 people paying $1,000. 10 grand's worth of fulfillment with the coaching stuff was like 40 people.
Yeah.
So like there was a lot more like infrastructure needed for this. And yeah, to be fair, I enjoyed it better.
Yeah.
Like for me, just helping people get in shape was something that I did because I was good at it. It wasn't because it was my calling, or it wasn't because it had particularly changed my life, because I'd been in shape for maybe from being like 15 onwards. I was in better shape than most people. Like people used to be like, oh, like when I used to play football, they're like, oh, you're on steroids, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
fucking 17, mate. Like, I'm not. Maybe later on they might have been right, but like even when I was 17, 18, 19, I deadlifted 200 kilos at 17.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you were a stocky little fucking. Yeah, I remember when I met you. You looked. You filled out that lifeguard, like
Yellow's a good look.
yellow lifeguard t-shirt.
There's a good look. But so yeah, like it never really changed my life as such. It was part of my life. Whereas like the PT stuff, like growing my PT business, like genuinely changed and my family's life. Like it was a huge thing for me, and it's something that like I'd put a lot of pressure on myself to achieve, like in my 20s, probably to my detriment, and I'd like cracked it, and like I got more of a kick out of helping people do that. Like people come in that were like earning $2,000, now they're earning 5. Like that shift to me, going from like scraping 2K to earning 5K a month was like the biggest difference in my life, like ever. Even now, the biggest difference was like 2 to 5K.
Yeah, that is the big. That for me was a big lifestyle change.
That was like my bills. My bills were paid. The stress stopped.
I feel like you still got to think about money. You still got to look after your money, but you don't have to worry about it as much. And you can buy things that, like there's things that you can buy from $5,000 to 15 or 20 grand a month. I feel like it's not that much different, but from 2 to 5 is massive.
Yeah, it's like the quality of what you buy changes from like 5 to 15. Like you can buy a nicer watch, you can have a nicer car, but like the difference from 2 to 5 is like I can have a car, I can have a watch, I can go on holiday. I can go on holiday and afford to eat on holiday, which is I did that once. Is I booked a holiday and I was like, I've got no money to take on this holiday. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? It wasn't all inclusive either, because obviously it was cheaper to book it like self-catering.
Is that when you're doing sales calls in the airport?
No, it was before that. It was before that, to be fair. Our online business took off really quick. Like I said, like I went 0 to like 8K month 1. So like month 1, my problems were solved. So that's what I wanted to get for people. I was like, in 1 month, my life changed.
So you started enjoying helping the coaches more than you enjoyed helping people with fat loss.
Yeah, realistically. And in general, like, we were better at it than the people that were in the space currently, because I was actively doing it. Yeah. And I was doing it in a time where it had developed a lot more and there was a lot more to it, and the marketing was more sophisticated.
This is an interesting thing, right? Because just explain the online mentoring space. And because what Steve's trying to get at here is that Steve had done a lot more online coaching through COVID, right? And because a lot of people were going from coaching on the gym floor to online, you had done a lot of that then. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, to be fair, there's people that had done it, but like nobody had done it to the level that we had.
Yeah.
Like people say like, oh, I made this in year 1, but most of the time it was like them and 2 mates, or like them and the business partner that were cobbling both of the money together. So like, I made this in my first year online coaching, but they didn't make it. Like 2 people put their wages together and said that their business made that. Or, they'd sold ebooks like back in the day and shit like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but we were able to give people advice that was working like right now, like at this point. And, I went away and, I'd started my business from nothing. not had a safety blanket. Like mum and dad had never like, you know, give me money. Like I had to make it work day one. And I think a lot of people like were in the same boat as me. Like, you know, people were losing their jobs. People were, you know, rent was coming up and they didn't have no money. Like I understood that process. And I think I just got on with people a bit more because of it. Because I understand what it was like to have someone's back against the wall and they needed to, you know, grow the business and it had to happen. Whereas some things were quite slow and like, oh, it'll take 3 days to fill out this form about your avatar. I'm like, get to work.
Yeah.
Start making money.
So tell me you've now ended GRT. What did that first 3 months look like? Was there any part of you that was worried that you either weren't going to enjoy it or?
No, I wouldn't have stopped unless I knew I was going to enjoy it. Like I knew it's what I wanted to do. Like people are always like, you know when you say it, like sometimes you write stuff for marketing and for ads that like, I left my 7-figure coaching business and people are like, why the fuck would you leave a 7-figure coaching business?
Mate, yeah, you're speaking to someone who's like, I didn't have a 7-figure fitness business, but I had a very, very comfortable fitness business that I could have just sat on and made money.
Well,
so
like genuinely, like my number to like have the life that I want is like 4 or 5 grand. And I was already making 4 or 5 grand through the PT stuff. I'm more than that, more than 4 or 5 grand. So I'm like, even if everything else goes away and I just have the little bit that I'm doing now, I'm sound. Like I've got a house, I bought my car. So like I've got a car. Like did I have my dog at the time? I think I just had the dog as well. And I was like, I've got my dog. Like, you know, my mum and dad, I have enough money to give my mum and dad. It was like, even when I was earning 5 grand, I was giving mum and dad like £1,000 a month. So I was like, yeah, I'm sound. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I can probably still earn this anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went for it. I knew I was being limited in both anyway. Like I didn't have the time to fully give to that and I didn't have the time to fully give to my business. And I was stuck in this like halfway house. And I was like, right, I'm never going to truly succeed with either of these unless I just drop one. And I was like, which one do I enjoy more? Funny enough, it was the one that I wasn't earning as much money from.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, it is what it is. Like I've got to do, you know, I was only 29. So I was like, I've got another fucking 10, 20 years of this. Like I better make sure I enjoy it as much as I can. So yeah, we made the switch. We stopped doing all of the, that was a scary move actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we'd mashed together like a couple of offers that were really time efficient.
Yeah.
So I could still run both businesses. And we're like, right, well, we've been inefficient now because we just cobbled it together around a Frankenstein of the other business. We're going to stop everything. And we cancelled every single client.
That must have been scary, that.
Yeah, it was. We literally, well, we didn't cancel them.
Were you going through the Stripe account and just cancel?
No, so we didn't cancel them. We said, this current thing that we're doing is stopping. It's going to stop at the end of like early December. We're going to have Christmas off and we're going to relaunch at the start of January with this new thing. It's going to be, you know, everything that I've kind of wanted it to be in the first place, but didn't have the time or the resources to devote to it. We put some money in the bank. Obviously, I had some savings built up, so I had money to hire a team straight away. I put a team infrastructure together for this business before we weren't making enough money to pay for the team, basically. And I just thought,
what were those margins like then in the first?
Minus.
How much? Minus?
Not that much. Not that much, but
So it's quite a big risk then.
I think so. Bearing in mind,
calculated risk.
Yeah, it was a calculated risk. So like month one, we would have had to clear 25 grand to pay everyone's wages. So yeah, about that, I think, for the whole business cost for like lead gen and all that stuff, and the mentoring I was getting at the time and stuff like that, we had to break about 25k. And we just fucking went for it, and I just got to work, and we did 100k month one.
Yeah, it's been pretty,
so it was
pretty
all right.
wild.
Then we did 50 month two, and I was like, maybe it's coming down again. Maybe it was just flash in the pan. But then it came back up, and it hasn't been under 100k since. And
what have you enjoyed the most about doing it? What things have you enjoyed the most?
For me, this is about building something that's like, this is like a legacy business. Like this isn't just about me. And it's now at a point where it really, really isn't about me. Like there's loads of people involved. Like loads of people have their own personalities within the business and have their own importance within the business. But because we made so much money so quickly, like we've literally gone from 0 to 250k a month in 12 months.
Yeah.
Which is like bonkers to me. Like without running ads either, like there's no been staff costs is like our only biggest cost. Like we don't actually like run ads to like get clients. So everything has gone back into building the team. Like the team's gone from
why do you think that we've got such a strong team and such a strong dynamic within the coaches and the sales and the...
I grabbed people before I had the money for them.
Yeah.
To be fair, like I paid people, like Joe, for example, paid Joe for 2 months before we really had any work for him.
Yeah.
And it weren't cheap either.
So hiring before you actually needed.
Yeah, we hired before I knew we were going to need them, but I knew we were going to get into the habit of need them. And because we had so much excess finance, I could take it on the chin and make them exclusive to our business. So like everybody that works in our business doesn't work anywhere else in the fitness industry, which is good because I think a lot of people cobble together all the same group of people and they're all spread around all the other programs, which means that really most of the programs are the same.
Yeah.
Whereas like our program is the only program where you can get the help from our people. There's no bits elsewhere. And I think that unfortunately that rips some people out of businesses that like the other people wanted them in the business, but we outpaid them.
Yeah.
Realistically. And I remember saying to everyone at the same point, like, right, one person we've paid to go exclusive. We expect the same from everyone else now, or else this move is invalid. Yeah, it makes no difference, this move, unless we all do it. And we managed to get everyone agree to it. So I think because we've not all got our fingers in different pies and like everybody is working towards the same goal.
Well, everyone's focused on the clients.
Everyone is focused on making sure that we deliver the very, very best program that's possible. And I can deploy industry leading people in every single bit of the business to fix things or to improve things. So it's not just based off me.
Yeah.
It's not just me making videos in my room being like, you know, I can go, right, I need you to go on this course, learn this, come and deliver this back to the clients, make these videos, get it in.
Yeah, it's the art of delegating.
Yeah, it is really, but because we can do that and we can do it at scale and we can do it by paying for £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 courses for people, sending them off, getting them to come back and re-deliver it and repackage it. Obviously, we all sit together, figure out what's going to be relevant, figure out what works. And because it's not me trying to learn every single facet of business, and, you know, I don't love all of it. I like all of it. I'm pretty good at all of it. But in any business, like the owner of the business is not going to be the best person at every single area of the business. They've got to be good enough to manage and performance manage the top people in that area. But like your specialists should be specialists.
Yeah. You jumped on some sales calls, didn't you, a couple of months ago? And I remember you saying this to me that it's something that you're now going to do regular and dip in. And
I haven't. I've not kept that up. No, I meant to. But obviously, I try and keep where like. Again, I'm good enough at sales. I can close. Don't get me wrong. Like I'd put my closing ability up there with against other people. But again, because it's not my job now.
Yeah. You're out of practice a little bit with it.
I'm out of practice, but also like I do more coaching than I do anything else.
Yeah.
So my brain automatically goes to coaching. So when I'm on sales calls, I start coaching, which isn't always ideal. Whereas like Vicky's dead inside now.
Yeah.
Vicky's just a killer. Vicky's just gone cold. Vicky used to be a good coach and now she's terrible at it.
Yeah,
she has no empathy whatsoever. Yeah. She's like, dude, pay the money. Pay the money, get out. But, you know, the conflicting roles. So like I end up doing more of the coaching stuff, but that's what I wanted to do. And then when people are like, oh, can I not get on a sales call with you? I'm like, no, I don't do sales calls anyway. You'll get a coaching call. And unfortunately, the only way you can get a coaching call is if you're part of the program. Because I'm not going to be able to sell you. Like, that's not what I can do.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if, you know, to be fair, it doesn't happen a lot anymore.
No.
It used to happen a lot when I first stopped doing sales calls. Everyone was like, we're not getting a sales call with you. I'm like, do you realise how many sales calls we book a week?
I think now if you did ever, I think you only jumped on that sales call because I think Stu was away, wasn't it?
No, Vicky did a course. Vicky did a course that she neglected to tell me. She said it was a weekend course. I think it wasn't. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
All right. I think if you jumped on a call, it'd be. I think someone would be quite surprised that
they are sometimes. I have picked up a couple where like Stu's been off or something like that, and he's been like, shit, like somebody's booked in on Monday. Yeah, so like when Stu was on holiday, I jumped back in and somebody was like, oh, it's you. And I went,
Yeah,
surprise.
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what did you expect it was going to be?
Yeah.
But yeah, to be fair, people kind of know now, which is good
Yeah.
because it's grown bigger than like, it actually has
Yeah,
grown bigger than me.
yeah.
That's a fully fledged
Yeah.
business. Like people are aware, like, you know, the program's not delivered by me. It's delivered by like, you know, the heads of each area.
Yeah.
I do bits. I have my own bit that I deliver. Like I do all the operations and the strategies and stuff like that. I tend to pitch in more on like the audience and the niche building than
Yeah.
anything else. And the understanding of people, but I think that's just my teaching background. I'm just good at I'm good at figuring that out, like what people need and how that works. But like lead generation, Shannon, there's you and Rebecca for content, Vicky does sales, Josh for copywriting, Joe for the tech stuff. Like we've had other people try and do similar stuff, but they haven't managed to get the quality of the team together that we have. Yeah, and it falls a bit flat. Whereas hand on heart, my team is better than me.
Yeah.
Whereas other people have tried it and their team is like a weak, diluted, not even Vimto version of Vimto.
Don't be knocking
I know, I was going to
Vimto,
say,
Jesus.
it was like
Robinson's orange
not
juice.
even barley.
Barley. Oh yeah, barley juice.
Barley.
Oh,
Do you know what I
get in
mean?
the
What's the
bin.
barley one? Is it
Get in the bin.
fruit and barley?
Get in the bin.
Such a Tory drink, that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
no, it's not a good drink.
No wonder Jacob knew
Who
what it
drinks
was.
that?
Sorry, I won't say that out loud in future. It's a dirty word in Liverpool, that, isn't it? You say Tory 3 times, Boris Johnson appears behind you. No, but yeah, it's fruit and barley version of them. And I never wanted it to be that way. Like everyone's got their own personality, which is really good.
Yeah.
So like people gravitate, I think, towards different people, but it means that we're allowed, you know, we can coach a lot more people effectively because we're not all, you know, like copy and paste versions of each other, which is good. But we all work really well together, which we fucking have to because we basically spend every fucking
we do spend a
waking
lot of
minute
time together,
every day.
don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is good. There's a great nucleus. So, like that's one thing that that you've done really well is built an absolutely solid
I
team.
feel like I fluked that, if I'm honest.
Really?
There wasn't. Sometimes I feel like I just have a gut feeling about people, and I'm like, right. So I think the difference for me, right, is I feel like some people are threatened by people that are good. Hear me out on this. It's a little bit like
what's coming.
I feel like some people that run businesses feel like they have to be the man in the business, and anybody that comes in that is talented in their own direction that may challenge them at a certain area, they don't want anything to do. They don't want the smoke. They want yes men. They want people that are just going to follow orders and never ever challenge the hierarchy, and never take any of the spotlight either. Like they want to be the guy. You come to content, it's me. You do sales, it's me. I'm the best at sales. You do, you know, whatever, lead generation, coaching, I'm the best at everything. And I feel like they try and keep it that way by not having top talent. And also you don't have to pay for it. Like if everyone's like, you know, low level, so your costs.
Pay less.
Whereas I think for us, like, you know, we've got people on big wages. Like we spend a lot of money on staff. Like my staff, I don't do it anymore because it upsets me. So I make Sarah do it. So this last month, right, I've got rid of every area of the business that causes me mental trauma, and payroll. Payroll's one of them. Payroll's one of them. You know, I block my card 4 times a month because I make too large. Bearing in mind my bank's in Dubai, the transactions are so large on the last 4 days of the month that the bank stops the card working 4 days in a row. So Sarah has to stagger the payments so she doesn't trigger the fraud warnings on the card.
Yeah, that'd be awful to watch.
And knowing I'm spending so much money that my bank in Dubai, which is probably one of the wealthiest places in the world, kicks off about the amount of money I'm spending on the last 4 days of every month. So now I don't do it. Same with like dealing with customer service and like refunds and stuff like that. We just have a process, we have a system, and Sarah deals with it. I feel bad for her. She'll probably get some counselling.
I think she likes that
she
type
does,
of stuff though.
She does, or else I wouldn't have made her do it.
Yeah.
Made her do it. Invited her to take over the role for me. But like I'm actively removed from that now. So like,
yeah,
people get paid.
Yeah.
All I see is the money that's the profit. At the end of the, I don't care what it is. I don't know what we've had before. I just don't look at it. He gets paid. I know what the margins are because the margins I've obviously calculated to be profitable for the business in the way that we need it to be, you know, to grow. And you can't just spend all the money you make as a business because that's not fair on you guys. If you don't have a pot, if shit goes wrong, you know, my car's paid for, like all that stuff. Like, you know, we've got other people's lives riding on it as well. So we owe it to everyone. The profit isn't just like my pocket money. We owe it to make the kind of profit that we need to.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was going with that point.
Yeah, I completely forgot what we were talking about.
Me and you are terrible at putting on one of these things.
We were talking about you coming out of parts of the business that you don't enjoy. Or that causes
Yeah, but I'm not
stress.
sure what the point was there.
Yeah, I don't think I can't even
What's the
remember
next
what we're talking
question?
about.
The question that I remember was, what have you enjoyed the most about the journey?
But yeah, so building the team and having that like delegation of roles, and it's almost pretty cool that I get to pick and choose like what I actually do. Like truly, you know, when like you sell this dream, like, oh, you know, delegate the things that you don't want to do, but yet you actually like, how many coaches have someone that handles their Stripe account and they don't look at it?
Yeah.
Like how many coaches actually pay all the invoices, like have someone else, like Sarah's registered with my bank.
Yeah.
Like she has my debit card. I don't have my debit card. Sarah has my debit card. You know when you get the one-time password, it goes to her phone. I have to ask Sarah if I can buy something because the PIN code goes to her phone.
So you take the piss out of me for being whipped by my wife. You've got two of them.
Yeah, well, I have zero actually. I have none.
Right, okay, so just before we wrap it up then, what are the plans then for 2023?
Total world domination.
Total domination.
Nah, like genuinely, I think for me, like, and again, like not to put everyone off, but like I think we serve the younger crowd perfectly.
We do seem to have that type of client.
I think the 20 to 30 crowd is like where we really kind of shine. Again, I think it's just because of me. Like I've not got kids, I've not got a family. Like I'm very kind of, you know, driven in one way.
Yeah.
You know, forward. We have a lot of like young people that come out that almost.
We sell a bit of a lifestyle.
We do sell a bit of a lifestyle. I think for me, it's about building a business that like nobody thought you would be able to build. Like I love working with the trainers that like when people say, oh, I want to go be a PT, they go, fucking hell, do you not have any better aspirations than that? And I'm like, what do you mean do you not have any? But like my mum cried when I stopped being a teacher. Like that stuff, when people are like, oh, well, I went to uni to do this, but I've decided I want to be a coach. It's building the respectful businesses out of those. And I think we're really trying to push the envelope on that. And we're really trying to move it forward. I think we are personally, again, I don't really know, but I think we're at the front of like innovating the businesses for our clients. Like I think we do more, we test more, we don't chat shit about like, this is a tried and tested method. I think we're like, let's get like Tom, for example, is here today. We're running ads with Tom. We're running Tom's ads for free because we're like, we want to try our new system of doing it. We want to make sure it works. We tested it on mine and it works for me, but I'm a different business to Tom because we are business to business, really. You need to make sure it works in a fitness sense. Cool, let's get Tom, let's run these tests. Let's get the whole team involved. Let's map it out. Let's do it. Great, it works. You know, if not, soz Tom, like we've wasted a week of your time. But I test stuff out on Tom all the time. We'll change it. Yeah, like we tested the group thing out with Tom and that worked pretty well as well. Like we test loads of stuff. Free challenge. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. So like we're constantly going, right, let's learn this, let's try it, let's develop it, because there's a team of us, I think, and because we all collaborate, there's very little ego, which I think allows us to grow faster because we all kind of hold each other accountable to not getting too giddy and not getting too carried away with it. But I think for us, you know, we're about 220 clients at the moment. I think we're about 220 clients. I think we'll be at 500 by the end of the year.
That'd be sick.
And I may be lying when I say this, but I'm pretty sure we're going to shut the door at 500. 500 for me, if we've got 500 coaches that are thriving and succeeding with the team, because I don't want to scale the team too far. Yeah. Because I think it will lose the quality of what we have.
It a little bit.
I just don't think, if we can find the quality, I will continue to grow it. But I just
fruit and barley it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to fruit and barley it. I don't want to fruit and barley it, which means that's going to become a term now,
it is
isn't it?
Now, yeah.
But for that, I think 500 with the team that we've got will be where we need to be and where the team are, you know, working, firing on all cylinders and not overworked and not looking for problems either. Yeah. Like that'll be a good nucleus. I think we'll be there by the end of the year, which will be a turnover somewhere in the region of like 500 to 700K a month, depending on price point and package, which will mean that So I've mapped out every single stage of this over the next, like, I've mapped out, you know, at 250K a month, where our margins are at the moment, like what we spend the money on, where we go, what we're like at 350, what we're like at 400, what we're like at 450, what we're like at 500. I'll tell you right now, at 500, my wage hasn't changed from 250, but what has changed is the shit that we're going to run in the program. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it before we do it, but like, I'll show you the sheet later. It looks
You've alluded
mint.
to little bits of it in
It looks
meetings, haven't you? Yeah.
It looks fucking mint.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be, you know, all the business stuff will be the same, right? But the community element of it and the things that we put on for our clients is going to be immense.
Events and stuff.
For the people that, you know, when you see people who've got like memberships to Soho House and stuff like that, where you get to go to all these really cool events with like cool people and meet like the top people that are about and really network like that. And if you work in finance or if you work in things like that, you get access to this really cool, like, it'll be something along those lines.
Yeah, sick.
But yeah.
Right, do you want to wrap us up or shall I finish us off?
No, you can do the work.
Go on. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode. If you haven't done it already, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next one.